The Senate has asked the federal government to consider a comprehensive review of the power privatization policy with a view to reversing the current arrangement. The Red Chamber said Nigerians would not enjoy stable power supply in the next 10 years if the activities of the distribution companies were not reviewed and restructured. Well, let's bring in the former chairman of NERC, Amadi, to talk more about this development. Years after the privatization proper, there are talks to review the essence, the real essence of it. What are your thoughts about this new development?
All right, thank you very much. I think we've been on this for quite some time. But let me put it this way. I think, of course, no doubt that the process failed to deliver results. But I think just like in 2010, we focused on the wrong problem and brought in privatization. Today, we are still focusing on the wrong problem. The problem of this sector is not privatization necessarily, even though it was a bad experiment, poorly designed and executed. What the Senate should do now is to go back to the drawing board. It's over 15 years of the national electric power policy. We need to go back and look at the reform again. Do a proper diagnostic, get the experts, former and present experts, let them look at the document. This knee-jerk rejection of the privatization process and looking at the ownership and saying, oh, let's cancel and redo it, is not a solution. Just as privatizing was hurriedly done, we are again hurriedly undoing it without addressing the underlying conditions that create a crisis. The sector needs a proper diagnosis and a solution beyond privatization and its review. So I think the Senate should actually constitute a real parliamentary commission made up of experts, not just their SAs and the senators or House of Reps members, but experts to take time off and review what was done. We started this process about 15 years ago, and right now we are stuck. It has failed as an experiment, but the reason for failure is not just because of those who are handling the companies now. It's a fundamental, in my view, problem of misdiagnosing the illness and prescribing the wrong treatment. So we shouldn't go that route again. We need more comprehensive diagnosis, solutions beyond mere tokenism of focusing on who bought what or who sold what.
All right, so the projections really are not encouraging. The senators are saying that in the next 10 years, the issue of stable power supply must still be a thing in Nigeria. Do you think that there is that political will to get back to the drawing board like you have suggested, and as well as bring in stakeholders who really know who know how to fix this in the real sense of it?
I think I've not seen that political will. I think this started with President Obasanjo and Jonathan, and now the Great Administration. We have followed the same process. You see, even the advisors from the World Bank, those who got us into this trouble, they are still the people who are writing the script. We have not seen a serious effort by the National Assembly or the executive arm of government to go back and rethink. You see, when a process fails, it's failed not just because of the symptoms. Those are the symptoms. Oh, the discos don't have money. Liquidity are symptoms. The underlying problem is that, in my view, when other countries were focusing on expanding capacity and improving performance holistically, we are more concerned with divesting public to private without creating the enabling environment and the market. Even our regulation is still, on a learning curve. We've not yet come up to speed. Many countries in the world that privatize as an end state. When they have built capacity, improve corporate governance, improve regulatory capability, then they privatize when they have capacity. So we got it wrong, and therefore right now, I'm not seeing that political will to really spend time and solve the problem. I'm seeing more of political talk, playing to constituencies, populism. Oh, these codes have failed. Yes, they have failed. They were designed to fail. How do we redesign them? Not necessarily focusing on how do we take back assets and give back to the same people with the same underlying condition. So I think there's need now for a high-level presidential focus on proper definition of the problem and then taking a holistic process to solve it. Otherwise, I think they're right. In the next 10 years, we might still be scrambling, running from pillar to post. So I think that this is time now for real, rigorous review of the process beyond privatization.
Well, let's see how that pans out and see how long really it would take to begin to address all of these issues. Former Executive Chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, Amadi, thank you for talking to us tonight.